Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And with this time of expropriation of land without compensation being such a big issue in South Africa, and the claim by people like Julius Malema and even Ramaphosa that the white population owns 77% of the land. Well, let me debunk that theory. And this is a shout out to Lynn, who sent me this information. And it's research done by Delia Sargent. And she says, for those that are interested in the land debate, I've studied the November 2017 land audit report, which has been so grossly misrepresented by poor quality journalists and presents the real data below. So what you're going to see below are the actual percentages and figures of land ownership in South Africa. First of all, land ownership is divided into state ownership and also the following categories of private ownership: individuals, companies, trusts, community-based organizations, and co-ownership. The state, national, provincial, and municipal, and all other non-private ownership, including the Ingonyama Trust in KwaZulu-Natal, accounts for 28.12 million hectares of land, equivalent to 23% of the total 122 million hectares of land in South Africa. The remaining 77% is held by the above-mentioned categories of private owners. Now, notice, this is generic private owners. This is not white individuals, but that's how the figures have been slanted, because what these politicians are saying in effect is that 77% white land ownership is the balance not owned by the state, national, provincial, and municipal, and the Ingonyama Trust in KwaZulu-Natal. So that's their logic, which is completely it's flawed. Let's see why. Companies will include everything from large conglomerates, mines, factories, and businesses registered as companies. The total land owned by this category of owners is 23.2 million hectares, or 19% of South Africa. Now, let's remember that those companies are largely going to be on the stock exchange, probably have a large percentage of black ownership in them. So there's a pinprick or bursting the bubble of what the politicians are claiming as a starting point. Trusts include family trusts, community trusts, and any other entity registered as such in terms of the Trust Property Control Act of 1988. The total land owned by this category of owners is 29.3 million hectares, or 24% of South Africa. Now, a large number of black people, those with black privilege, those who hide behind trusts, would be owners of this land. So again, you're nibbling away at the 77% figure that has been allocated by the politicians to white land ownership. Community-based organizations own 3.6 million hectares, or 3% of South Africa. Co-ownership accounts for 0.9 million hectares, or 0.7% of South Africa. Once again, that's not white ownership. It could be anyone. Private ownership, or individuals where race can be allocated, own 37 million hectares, which accounts for about 30% of South African land. This private individual ownership of South Africa was subdivided into ownership of 1, farms and agricultural holdings, 2, urban, and 3, sectional title properties. Ownership was further classified according to race as white, African, colored, Indian, other, and co-owned. Race was determined through the ID number of the owner of the title deed, matched with data held by Stats South Africa from the 2011 census. Where race could not be determined, ownership was classified as other. The white private individual ownership for farms and agricultural holdings and urbans and sectional title is as follows for each province. Eastern Cape, 3.03 million hectares, or just 18%. Western Cape, 2.86 million hectares, or 22%. Northern Cape, 11.65 million hectares, or 31%. Free State, 3.76 million hectares, or 29%. Northwestern Province, 2.42 million hectares, or 23%. Gauteng, 0.31 million hectares, or 17%. Mpumalanga, 0.97 million hectares, or 13%. That's 13%. Limpopo, 1.15 million hectares, or just 9%. And KwaZulu-Natal, 0.87 million hectares, or just 9%. So the total in South Africa of white ownership of land is 27.03 million hectares, which is just 22%, which is a smaller amount than what the state governments and that KwaZulu Trust own in South Africa. So the whites actually have only about 1 in 5 hectares of land in South Africa, not 77% as suggested by the politicians. I'm going to leave it at that. Just wanted to clear that up, because when they start expropriating land without compensation, I hope they start doing it across the board. Alright guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed, ring the bell for the updates, please like this video, please share this video, and above all, please stay safe.